I don't rate books, but I do rate book covers. Hello and welcome. I have been fascinated by book covers. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I host a cover comparison in my stories where I have you guys vote on different editions of the same book. And I'm really fascinated by different editions of the same book in particular because the story inside is the same. And if we pick the story up and read it, we should have the same emotional reactions or connections to the story, regardless of what the cover art looks like. But the cover art is usually one of the first things that draws us in and makes us want to pick up the book and find out more what it is about. And I'm really fascinated by that. And on top of that, who does not want to have gorgeous cover art for our favorite books? We want like gorgeous books on our shelves. At least I do. I'm very shallow like that sometimes. Today I will be reviewing all the covers for Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I was getting ready to put these covers together to have them voted for on my Instagram stories, and I thought it would be a fun video just to like rank them on a scale of 1 to 5 if I like these covers or not. If you're watching this the same day that I am posting it, you can head over to my Instagram and I will have these covers in my story on my Instagram and you can vote on them and tell me if I'm wrong. This is all super subjective and just done in good fun. I know very little about art, so this is literally just me going, would I pick this up? Would this intrigue me enough to find out more about the book? It really has nothing to do with like how objectively good the art is on this cover because I don't even know if it's objectively good or not. I am going on my own very subjective opinion. Elantris by Brandon Sanderson is very popular and has a lot of covers. So I'm going to try to go through these pretty quickly. I scoured the internet for all the different cover editions that I could find, and I am going to go through all of them because I find it really interesting. Remember, all of these covers are covers for the exact same story. The story did not change. As far as I know, I'm not aware of any differences in like a future printing, or maybe translations changed a little bit of things. But as far as I know, the story contained inside these book covers should, for the most part, be the exact same story. And the covers are wildly different. So I'm going to go through and rate these covers on a 5-star scale. And I hope this is fun for you, and let me know which of these covers you like the best and how you would rate them and which ones I am like dead wrong about. I'm rating these books on a scale of 1 to 5. So 5 stars is my favorite. 5 stars is fabulous, wonderful. I want to own these covers. 4 stars is really good, really intriguing. I would pick this book up and want to know more about it. 3 stars is average to good. It is a good cover, it's intriguing, but there's something missing to keep it from being like really good. And 2 stars is, it's fine, it's okay, it does the job, but it's not really interesting or intriguing. And 1 star is just why? Why was this a cover for this book or any book? Just why? All right, so the first one I'm going to look at is actually the first one that I saw in relation to Elantris. This is the book that my library had, and that was when I very first saw Elantris. I saw the cover for Elantris. So I'm going to talk about this one. It's very obvious from this cover that Brandon Sanderson is a popular author because his name is as big as the title on this cover. Now, I think this cover is interesting. I like the coloring. I kind of like the greenish blue teal colors. Those are some of my favorite colors. So I am going to be partial to covers that have that color scheme in them. There's these orbs flying around. It's obviously a big city. I think it would be interesting to see this cover with the title and Brando's name a little bit smaller, so that way you could actually see the city and feel the scale of it. I think this is a very good cover, and I'm going to give it, I think it's good. I'm going to give it 3 stars. No, I think this could be a 4-star book. I think it's intriguing enough. I think it could be a 4-star book. At the same time, I do think it feels more science fiction, so I don't know if it's exactly representative of Elantris. But I'll be generous. I'll give it 4 stars. The next one, I really like this cover. It's fairly simplistic, but it asks a lot of questions. You're wondering what is going on here. There's this guy up on this wall. Is he on a wall? I know from reading it, it is a wall, or maybe the top of a building. He's looking down into an abyss. It looks like, who knows how far this goes down. We can't really tell what he's looking at. It is super intriguing, and he's got this big red cloak. I love the colors and the design of this cover. Again, you can tell Brandon Sanderson's a big name because his name is even bigger than the title of the book. I think it's fine. It looks good on this cover. I like how it's done together. I'm going to give this 4 stars. I would definitely pick this up and want to know more about it. The next one I really don't know how to feel about. I think there's something so intriguing about it, but there's also something that just feels kind of basic about it. And I think it's just because there's a guy standing on the cover doing something cool that makes it feel basic. There's a lot going on this cover that makes me go, this is intriguing. Something's going on here. I want to know more. So I really don't know where to put this cover. I like the background. I like the images of the magic. I like the floating orbs. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one. So I'm going to give it a very conflicted, middle-of-the-road 3-star. The next one is one of my favorite cover designs. I love this one, and I think part of it has to do with the coloring, the greens, the blues, the purples. There's a guy very small on the front with a sword. He's looking at this city that is in the distance. There's these walls, maybe made out of rocks or stones. Is this a canyon? What is this? Why are they kind of glowing? I love the color scheme. I love how it draws you in. And I think this is one of my favorite Elantris covers, and I'm going to give it 5 stars. Next is a leathered bound special edition, and I really like this one, but I will say I feel like these are the types of covers that work best if you already read the story and you're just wanting a very special, pretty edition for your shelves. I don't see these working quite as well, just like people who do not know about the story wanting to pick them up. It's a very simplistic design on the cover, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. I think it's a 3-star cover. This next one I know is a favorite for a lot of people. I know these particular cover designs are very popular among people who enjoy Brandon Sanderson's works. I think the art is pretty, but I'm not particularly drawn to this one. I think you can see that there's a woman going in a door and there's this like green light mist, something coming out from it, but I'm not actually that intrigued. For the most part, I'm like, I can't really tell what's going on here, and I'm just kind of feeling meh about it. So I'm going to give this 2 stars. I absolutely hate this one. I hate everything about it. I hate that there's a dude looking heroic on the cover just staring right at you, and I don't think it's well done. And 1 star. Why? Get this out of my sight. Next one I also don't really like. I feel like it's people standing around not really doing anything. Yeah, there's this guy with his hand up in the air, but it just doesn't really tell me much about the story. I do like the color scheme of this cover. I think it is a decent job. It's okay, it gets the job done, but I'm not really intrigued by it, and I'm just kind of like, why are these people standing around? So 2 stars. Next one, this kind of has a stained glass feel. There's a lot going on this cover. I feel like it definitely looks very fantasy and magical. I'm not particularly drawn to this particular art style, but I do think it is a decent cover for this book, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. This next one, I have literally no idea what is going on this cover. There's like lines and shapes and lights, and it tells me nothing. So why? 1 star. Next one is the audiobook. I actually did listen to this through the audiobook. So this is the cover that I met the story through. And I do feel like that's possibly why I'm somewhat more lenient towards it. It is the cover that I saw every time I wanted to read the book. Every time I picked it up to read a little bit more, this is the cover that I saw. So it's kind of the cover that I associate with the story. I think the top part with the pillars and it's obviously building and these blue lights is very basic. It doesn't really tell us a whole lot. But the bottom part with like a guy turning to stone, that's kind of intriguing and I'm interested. I do feel like it tells you something about the story and what's going on. And I don't think it's the best cover. I definitely feel like it could be better, but there's definitely a lot of intrigue here. So I'm going to give this 3 stars. This next cover is also an audiobook cover. I did not listen to the audiobook with this cover. It's a graphic audio, which I assume means full cast. I'm not really sure what graphic audio means, but we're talking about the cover here. It looks like a wizard zombie, maybe? I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like big prominent faces on covers, and I'm not a huge fan of this cover in general. So I'm going to give it a 1 star. Why? Next cover is kind of colorful, but also kind of basic. I don't really know how to feel about this one, and I'm just kind of left going like, it does the job, but I don't think it's super intriguing, so 2 stars. I love all the colors on this cover. I also feel like this very much looks like it could be a scene from the book. It looks like the artist could be illustrating a very particular scene, and I like that. And just all the colors and the way everything is and the banner across the top, I'm definitely very intrigued by this cover. I want to know more about it, and I'm going to give it 4 stars. This is another edition. Instead of a green mist, it's an orange light mist. It might be light. I'm not actually sure. What is this stuff on this cover? I don't think the change of color changes it that much, so I'm going to give this 2 stars like the last one. Okay, this next cover kind of hurts me because it takes a design that is typically one of my favorites and it does it all wrong. I usually like covers with a prominent image in the center and a really cool design in the background and kind of simplistic, but definitely has a color scheme. And this has all of that, but I am not intrigued at all by this cover. I don't like it. And it feels like it's mocking me because this is a cover design I typically am drawn to, and I'm not drawn to this one. Am I going to be mean enough to give it 1 star? Yeah, I am. There's a lobster on this cover. You see that? There's a lobster. Why is there a lobster on this cover? 1 star. Next 2 are audiobooks also featuring very prominent faces on the cover. I'm not particularly drawn to covers with prominent faces on them, and I'm going to give both of these 1 star. I think the second one is slightly more intriguing because it's definitely more of his arm than his face that you see on the cover. Again, this kind of looks like a sci-fi book, not a fantasy book. I don't think it's necessary. 1 star. I'm intrigued by this one. I love the lighting. I love the nighttime look. It feels kind of eerie and mysterious. There's this knight on a horse in the foreground. He's small. He's not super prominent. There's this background that looks gorgeous, and I'm intrigued. I want to know more. I don't think it's the best cover image, but I think it does a really good job, and I'm definitely intrigued and would definitely pick this up and want to know more about this book. 4 stars. I kind of like this next one, but I also kind of don't. I can't really pinpoint my feelings exactly, but I think it's the lady with her hair blowing and her dress blowing that just kind of makes me go, I'm not really feeling it. Why is she just standing around? But I like the colors. I like the art overall. I don't really know how to feel about it, but I'm somewhat intrigued. 3 stars. Again, with the leather-bound special edition, I actually kind of like this one more because it does not have the title in it, and I feel like that's weird. But I really like the simplicity of it. Again, I think this is definitely best for people who have read the story and want a special edition on their shelves rather than drawing people new to the story in. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. If this was your first encounter with Elantris, would you want to read this book? I like the blue. I like the blue better than the brown. I don't know what to rate this, but I think I'm going to keep it the same as I rated the other one, which I believe was 2 stars. I don't mind this one, but I also feel like it feels like a very basic fantasy cover. There's supposedly a knight in the foreground. He has horns on his helmet. He's got this red flag. Who knows what that means? There's this city, castle, something. Everything between them's kind of obscured. I don't know. Is this a 2 star or a 3 star? It's very basic, but I think it definitely does the job well. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to give it 3 stars. Okay, so this next one, I definitely have mixed feelings about it. There's a lady with a sword and blood on her dress, and that is definitely very intriguing. But I also feel like the color scheme of this book is just okay, and there's nothing like very prominent standing out and vibrant on the cover. And on top of that, we sort of have a person just standing around on the cover, but like she does look like she was at least just in action, so something's going on here. I'm intrigued enough. I'll give it 3 stars. And the last one, I love this cover. I love the simplicity. I love the colors. I love the magic mysteriousness of it. There's a guy in a robe on this cliff with this orb. I love the simple design in the background that you're not really sure what that is. Excellent cover. Absolutely love it. I love the rock shapes too. Is this a 4 star or a 5 star? I don't know. I don't think it's quite a 5 star. I don't think it makes my absolute favorites, but it's very good and 4 stars. Well, that is it. That is all of the covers that I could find for Brandon Sanderson's Elantris. I hope this was fun for you. Let me know which ones you agree with me and which ones I'm dead wrong about, and what is your favorite Sanderson cover. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video.